Alright guys, so we're gonna go ahead and get this over with because I kind of want to take a nap. If you follow me on Instagram, you guys probably know that I tried making this before and it didn't work out because it was too long of footage and my computer decided it couldn't handle all that pressure. Basically, I'm just gonna explain some things about how I was treated back when I weighed 165 and up until like now. I don't even know what I weigh now anymore. Somewhere in the 140s probably. I've been maintaining for a while, so let's get into this. The first thing I'll talk about is family, and I do have notes, so yeah. The difference between back then and now is basically how like I'm treated, I guess. There are certain family members who weren't really too fond of me losing weight and would always comment on it and like be like, oh my gosh, she's getting too small, you need to eat more, that doesn't look healthy, yada yada yada. Honestly, throughout my journey, I didn't have too much support. There were like maybe one or two people who like were really rooting for me because they wanted me to be healthier. They wanted me to like be the best I can be, and that was really nice. But there are some other people who were like, okay, you're working out, okay. Or they'd be like, come on, let's go out to eat. Let's go get Krispy Kreme. Let's go get Papa John's or Domino's or I don't know, Burger King. They'd pretty much try and coerce me to do the things I was trying to avoid, or there would be no food in the house and we'd end up having to get fast food, and it just didn't work well with what I was trying to do, and that was a struggle in and of itself. In terms of friends, honestly, I don't even consider most people that I talk to my friend. They're more of an associate. So, I mean, if they see this, yeah, I didn't get much support from a lot of the people. There's this one time that this girl, me and her had a class together, and basically we were eating at the cafeteria or whatever, and this was at the point in time where I was tracking my calories and whatnot. Oh my gosh, my collarbone looks so nice. Okay, so I was tracking calories and I was eating like an omelet or something and like some hash browns, but like not a lot. So it was like a little bit of hash browns and like an omelet. She'd look at me eating or whatever, because I typically ate the same thing or whatnot. She'd be like, are you still doing that diet thing? And I was like, it's not a diet, but yes. And she'd be like,
you know that's not gonna work, right? You know, like, all that stuff's not gonna help you. This is what you need to do. You need to do this. You gotta do that. Yada, yada, yada.
And internally, it kind of hurt because it's like, dang, how are you gonna tell me what I'm doing isn't working when it's literally working? Like, I don't, how does it correlate?
How does it correlate? Like, I don't understand.
Other than that, my best friend, she was like the most supportive. She's like family to me. I love her. She was really supportive of me. She was glad to see me making that physical change. She was excited to see my journey and whatnot. She was always hyping me up on Instagram, like she still does to this day. You can see the most recent stuff on my Instagram and you'll probably see a comment of hers. Another thing about friends is the way they talked. When I was a bit heavier, they'd be like, oh, you look good the way you are, blah blah blah. And now it's like, oh my gosh, you look so amazing, you look hot, you look beautiful, yada yada yada, fake AF, something of that nature. So the way people like talk to me is a little different in terms of, similar to what I just explained about the little language change and whatnot. There were like a lot of people that I went to high school with, and like for the most part, me and them were cool. Like, we could be cordial, we had classes together, we laugh, talk, all that good stuff. Now there's been like a shift where they don't just see me as a friend, they see me as this really good looking person, which is subjective to say the least. But like, the same people that would like friend zone me, I guess, are now trying to get into this other zone where they're like in relations with me. A good example of that is like my DMs, because they'll end up sending like heart eye emojis or a ton of hearts or the fire emoji. It'll be like, you look really good, you look bad, are you single? Let me take you out. I'm like, were you thinking the same thing in high school? Because I really doubt it, but okay. There was this one time in middle school, we were in PE class, and the PE teacher was telling us it was time for us to head back in because it was almost time for the class to be over. I had a lot of energy for whatever reason, and I decided to run from where I was, which was like way far back, all the way up to where the teacher was. And the teacher was like, wow, Gabby, I've never seen you run that fast before. Of course, I didn't think much of it because, you know, I mean, you probably haven't, so I didn't think much of it. And there were like a few other people who were like, yeah, that wasn't cool of him to say. He wasn't supposed to say stuff like that. That's kind of rude. And I guess now I can see it from their perspective because he didn't make that comment to anyone else. Like, and the majority of the people in my class were a lot smaller than I was. We ended up going to the principal's office to talk to the principal about the situation. And I'm not sure if that situation impacted his decision to fire the PE teacher, but as far as I know, he doesn't work there anymore for whatever reason, which could also be something like weird, like pedophilia, because he seemed like that kind of person, but who knows. Too many decent interactions. Like, they were decent, but they weren't the best, you know? So people wouldn't go out their way to hold doors open for me or smile at me or just like look at me like they do now. Like, I get a lot more male attention for some unknown reason. I mean, obviously I'm smaller, but like, I'm still the same person, so it's a little weird. There's always people holding the door open for me, whether it be a male or a female. It's always someone rushing to hold a door open for me or something like that. Or anytime I walk by, there'd be like a lot of people smiling at me. And honestly, when I was younger, I used to never smile, like, at all. Like, I hated smiling. It was the worst thing ever. It seemed like a waste of time. And like, now, since everyone else smiles at me, I kind of feel a need to smile back. But like, so it's like half genuine, but half like, I'm only doing this because you're doing it too. In addition to that, I get like Not very often, but it does happen sometimes. There would be, like, if I'm walking out of the dorm, like to my car or something, there'd be people honking their horn as I'm walking to my car. And it's like unwanted attention, because I don't really want that at all. But, I mean, it happens, so I thought I'd put that out there. Personally, I have changed a lot, just in terms of how I dressed back then and how I acted. Like I just said, I wasn't someone who smiled a lot. Honestly, I'd keep a straight face or a frown on my face, or I'd just look angry all the time, which technically I still look angry all the time because I just have RBF, and that's cool. And it's also really useful when you're in the gym, because then no one wants to talk to you. But I mean, sometimes you still get people who do try attempting to talk to you. So yeah, back then I was a lot more conservative in how I dressed. When I got my first job, I would always wear this really big black jacket every single day to work. And I'd never take it off no matter how hot it got. And all of my coworkers used to make jokes about it, because it's like, Gabby, why don't you take off your jacket? I'll be like, no. And they'll be like, aren't you hot? Why don't you take off your jacket? And I'm like, I just never take it off. And there was this one time I finally did, because I think the AC in the store stopped working. And it was so bad, I absolutely had to take my jacket off. Like, I felt like I was going to pass out if I didn't. The reason I wore the jacket was because I hated my arms and how they looked. They were very unattractive to me, or unappealing in any way. So I'd always cover them up. Like, I would always be in long sleeves and stuff, or I'd never have spaghetti strap shirts on, and just that because I didn't like showing all of my arm like that. And coincidentally, I'm wearing a long sleeve. It is hot, but I can deal with it. But like now, I tend to wear like a lot more crop tops. I wear shorts sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. I wear dresses a little more, but not really. I think my closet's a lot more colorful. Back then, I used to stick to certain colors. Black, gray, brown, white, a lot of pink. I don't know why, but a lot of pink. My closet, honestly, now that I'm looking at it, there's no pink, so I'm happy about that. But there's still some muted colors, so I might need to buy new colors at some point. I also tend to laugh a lot more, and I take way more pictures now. And honestly, I took a lot of pictures then, and I take a lot of pictures now, just because I like looking at myself, and I think I'm like a really nice person to look at, you know. I also have this don't take any crap from anybody type of mentality now. Like, back then I used to accept a lot of things that I didn't really deserve. And like, I feel like a lot of people still try to treat me that way, and I'm just like, no. That's a part of me that existed back then, maybe 7, 10, blah, blah, blah years ago. But me now, I'm not gonna deal with your nonsense, and I'm just gonna block you. I'm okay, for the most part, with how I'm treated now, mainly because mentally I feel like I've grown a lot. I mean, it would have been nicer to have more support from the so-called friends or from my family. I don't really care too much about classmates or strangers because it's like I don't know you that well anyways. I'm out of breath. That's what I've seen so far. I'm sure as I continue this journey, I will see a lot more. I hope this video was insightful to you in some way. I hope it gave you a deeper view of what I experience. Maybe you experienced the same thing or something similar. If you do, you can leave it in the comments and let me know. If you want, you can like it, or I mean, if you don't, you can dislike. There's a dislike button for a reason. You can also subscribe, that's an option. You know, just do whatever your heart desires. And then I'll see you in the next one. Bye.